Welcome to the inaugural Albany Film Festival, presented by the New York State Writers Institute at the University at Albany. My name is Paul Grondahl. I'm the director of the Writers Institute. Before I introduce our special guests, let me say that this is part of our rescheduled, reimagined film festival. Unfortunately, we had to postpone the in-person event we had planned for last spring due to the coronavirus pandemic. I also want to remind you that this and all of our film festival events are archived on our YouTube page for you to view at your convenience, and please share them with your friends. You can also follow everything on our website at albanyfilmfestival.org, and also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And now let me introduce our guests, our documentary filmmaker, Lizzie Gottlieb, and the subjects of her film, Romeo Romeo, Lexy Casano-Antonellis and Jessica Casano-Antonellis. The film follows a married lesbian couple, Lexy and Jessica, throughout an emotional roller coaster, navigating high costs, invasive medical procedures, sperm donors, in vitro fertilization, artificial insemination, multiple failures, and the strain on their marriage as they try to have a baby and grow their family. The intimate story is by turns heartbreaking, funny, dramatic, and beautiful. The film received the prestigious Excellence in Documentary Award by the National Gay and Lesbian Journalism Association. It's so nice to have you joining us. Thank you, Lizzie and Lexy and Jessica. How are you doing?
Thank you. We're doing well.
Excellent. It's so great to see you. That the film is a beautiful film. It's tough. The first 2/3 are a lot of stress and strain and a beautiful denouement and finish. But let me ask kind of the backstory, which I didn't see anywhere. I was reading the reviews and interviews online. But Lizzie, how did you meet Lexy and Jessica? And then I want to ask them, how did they agree to be part of this documentary?
Right. Well, I have to go back a little bit to explain that. Part of the reason I wanted to make this film is that I had a really hard time getting pregnant myself and went through a lot of infertility treatments and, long sort of quest. And it was very isolating and heartbreaking and difficult. And I felt very, very alone in that. And at that time, there weren't as many resources as there are now. And I felt after I had kids, which I did, I ended up having twin boys, and met other people who had been through similar experiences. And I really felt that I wanted to make a film that shared some of that experience, but I couldn't make it about myself because I'd already gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
So after I had twins, I was very happy and a little overwhelmed, and I needed some help. And Lexy came to be our babysitter. So she was the greatest babysitter in the world. And we all three became very, very close friends. And in fact, we moved to a house in Brooklyn, and Lexy and Jessica moved in to our downstairs apartment. So we're like a big, happy family. It was.
I never realized that. I mean, you say in the film that you live right below so those are your two sons?
That's right.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. Well, that's convenient. You didn't have to commute far for the shoot, I guess.
Exactly. So great. And then, I couldn't figure out the way to make this film about infertility. And Lexy and Jessica were just starting the process of trying to have a baby. And the idea came to me that maybe instead of a film about infertility, I would make a film about their,
Journey.
Journey. Thank you, Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them, I was like, I don't know if you'd want to do this, but would you? And they said,
yeah.
Yes.
So what went into the thought process, Jessica and Lexy? How did you immediately say yes? Did you waffle? Did you?
I think I immediately said yes, right, right, Lizzie?
You basically were like, let me get my lip gloss.
Yeah, I was like, all right, and you thought about it more.
I had to think about it more. I mean, I really didn't know what we were getting into. I think Lizzie and I were just talking about that. You can't really know until you do it. But I felt like I was a little more hesitant than Jessica. She was ready. And then I think after a few days or a day, maybe even an hour, I was ready.
So how do you gain the trust as a filmmaker? Obviously, you knew you know, they live in the same building, and Lexy takes care of your children, but still to get that trust. I mean, you were rolling film at the most intimate moments, including a lot of on the toilet when you're checking to see if you're pregnant and things. But I mean, also very tender moments, some very stressful moments. You know, how did you get that trust as a filmmaker? Was it automatic?
You know, I can speak for me, and then you guys can speak for you. I think we were already so close and had so much, you know, love for each other and trust of each other that they were incredible. You guys were so amazing. And I feel that you never sort of didn't allow me to be there for all of that. And I hope that I, you know, was responsible with that trust. But I was so grateful that you let me be a part of that. And I feel like I probably would have been there anyway, even if I didn't have a camera, because we were so entwined in each other's lives in so many ways. And I think, I mean, there's no greater trust than leaving your babies with somebody else. And so for me, Lexy had seen me at my most vulnerable and difficult moments and had, you know, taken on the care of my children, and she really helped them become who they are. So there was this incredible intimacy already between our two families.
Hmm. What really comes through is the support and love from each of your families, and you know, right from the footage you use of your wedding and everything. Was there any moments that we didn't see on camera where your families were kind of questioning this at all, or?
No,
Never the film. No.
I would say not questioning the film, maybe the name that we chose for our son.
Oh yeah, that got a lot of raised eyebrows.
You can't name him Romeo.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
But other than that, I mean, what you saw in the film is exactly what their reactions were. I mean, they're pretty hilarious.
What did your family and friends, I assume, I mean, they're in it, they're throughout the film, but what was the reaction when you went to the premiere or saw it for the first time? And
Everyone loved
They
it.
loved it.
Yeah.
Was it Sag Harbor? When was the
Yeah, it was the Hamptons Film Festival.
Everybody,
Mhm.
your family, everyone in your family.
I
came.
feel
It
like
was,
all
yeah,
the family and
Christopher came
friends.
out from San Francisco, who ended this airs after people have seen the film, right? So no
Yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to double check. But yeah, so Christopher flew out from San Francisco. Like, he was so excited to be present for it. Everyone was.
I
Our
think that was our
families.
big premiere. That was,
Yeah.
we dressed up. I imagined there was a red carpet. Maybe there wasn't. I feel like there was.
But no, everyone was super supportive and excited about the film and loved it.
Were there obstacles in terms of, I mean, you got permission from the hospital, from medical centers, from fertility, you know, staff and things? Was that a hurdle, or the fact that Lexy and Jessica gave you permission, did that solve all the issues of filming? Or
I was pretty amazed that the hospital let us film as much as they did, and that Lexy let me in there with the camera. But in terms of the hospital, they were fine with it as long as Lexy was fine with it. And then, you know,
I preferred having you there.
yeah.
Well, they made Jessica leave the room. They let me stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you prefer having her there and filming?
Well, nothing to do with the camera, but just Lizzie's like another big sister to me.
Okay.
And really, she just makes me feel so comfortable and has helped me through so much in my life. And she is a large reason, you know, I am who I am today. Like, you know, I'm a teacher because of Lizzie, a little bit of coaxing from Jessica too.
Mhm.
But I don't know, she's just like family. So
Right.
camera or not, I would have wanted Lizzie in there.
I'm gonna cry, Lexy.
Oh,
It's the first 2/3 are rough because it's just failure, and there's so much stress and disappointment. And then the final third, the beauty and redemption of it finally happened. But did you ever figure out the odds? Because you go right into the clinic and the doctor's telling the various odds and how many eggs, but the odds were pretty low that it would have taken, right? I mean, were the odds, I mean, it was amazing. I thought that worked so quickly for you with Christopher.
Yeah.
I know, it just felt like it was meant to be that way.
Right.
Like it made like, and the second it worked, we just forgot about all the pain and the struggles of the last like year. They just like evaporated, and it was
Mhm.
just like it was just meant to be with Christopher.
Right.
And we wouldn't have, if we hadn't gone through that journey though, Christopher, it wouldn't have been an option. Like he was very much present for our whole experience
Yeah.
and saw what we went through. So that really led him to just be like, let me help.
Right. So, I mean, basically you've expended $20,000, all your savings, many, painful, difficult rounds of shots and other things. And then you connect with somebody Jessica knows, a gay couple in San Francisco, and you fly out there. I mean, it's remarkable,
We always say that we're the luckiest lesbians in the world.
I saw that line in the film. I love that line. So what, I mean, I'll talk to Lizzie. I know it won the award, from LGBTQ community, got a lot of response to it, but it's really a universal story, isn't it? Or is it meant to be about lesbian relationships and a lesbian couple?
No, it's really not. I think for me, it's largely about the need that many of us have to be a mother, to be a parent, how incredibly powerful that is, and how much one will go through in order to make that happen, and the experience of facing the possibility that that might not happen, what that does to us and what that does to a couple, I think is so, it's a powerful thing. And that's what I didn't, this ended up being the story that I initially wanted to tell, unfortunately for Jessica and Lexy. But I think that's what I really wanted to look at, what that does to a person and to a couple.
Right.
And they're so wonderful and funny and vibrant. And I think they faced everything they were going through with such bravery and joy, when possible, and humor. It was really very moving for me to see them.
Yeah, I mean, that shines through in the film. There's one point, and it shows the tension between you two. I mean, Lexi was the one driven with this initial maternal drive, and Jessica was not hesitant, but not as driven, from the core of her being. But I do want to update, because we have a couple updates to your real life story here. But were there any moments when you said turn off the camera? There's a point when you joke like turn it off because I'm going to kill her now. I mean, Lexi says that when there was some tension, but was there any moments like we just can't film this, we're just melting down or anything? It seems like you're there all the time.
I don't think we did that.
I don't think we ever
I
said
think
turn
I
off the camera.
wanted to, but we just didn't.
Yeah, no, we were fine with it. If anything, there were moments that we like missed on camera, I feel like.
Right.
But no, we were there, and Lizzie was super respectful. And even like after the cameras would stop rolling, she'd always like stick around to talk with us for hours and console us or, give advice. So it was, again, it was very much open.
Yeah.
And how about the editing process, Lizzie? I assume you have dozens or hundreds of hours and you have to find your story and all this footage. Did you feel like you had overshot almost too much, or did you go back to kind of find things you were missing, or how did you do the editing?
Making a documentary, I think you always shoot a lot more than you end up using. And then you sort of rewrite the story in the editing room. I had a wonderful editor named Giuseppe De Angelis, who we all love so much. This film was made with like an enormous amount of love and friendship. It was so intimate. I think I decided it doesn't have the greatest production values. And part of that, it was a choice that I really didn't want, a sound guy with a boom in the bathroom with Lexy and Jessica. I don't think we were the story the way that we did. So I'm really not a cinematographer, but I shot it all myself because we wanted the film to have an intimate quality. And I think that's the only way it would have happened. So Giuseppe and I cut the film. Really, some of it we started cutting before the story was finished, and we didn't know how this story would end. we thought, well, maybe it'll end with them having a baby, or maybe it'll end with them not having a baby. And how long do we keep going? So Giuseppe and I started editing before before the end of the story, and kept going and shaped it as we went along.
And how about as the subjects in it? You give Lizzie total artistic control, or does she show you rough cuts and say, what do you think? I mean, how involved were you doing, the editing and stuff?
No,
Not at all.
Lizzie and Giuseppe did it all. I mean, maybe a few things with my singing, I was like, oh no, please don't put that in, or I'm singing a bad note. But overall, Lizzie had full control of that, and we trusted her completely.
Right.
I remember showing it to you for the first time, and there were some things I thought, Jessica, there's a moment, Jessica, where you're a little harsh with Lexy, you might say. And I thought you were going to see it and be like, you have to take that out. And I didn't know what I would do. And you saw it and you just laughed and laughed. I thought it was hilarious. And
You thought Jessica would want you to take it out?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
no way. No way.
So you pose a lot of kind of hypotheticals in the film, because Christopher, it's a beautiful scene when you go out there. He's such a kind, he and his husband, and but you wonder, like, what will be 5 years later, 10 years later, how much involved will they want to be, the whole issue of a biological father. So if you can kind of update us, because this was a 2012 film. So,
and here we are 10 years later.
Yeah. So did any of those things come through? First, how involved is the biological father and things? And
well, before COVID, of course, he traveled a lot to New York for his job. So we would see him like every other month, very involved with the boys, would always come to Brooklyn when we lived there, and then when we moved up to Hastings, would always take the train and come even for dinner, sometimes spend the night. So he was very involved, and we just haven't, of course, we haven't seen him.
I would say very involved as like a fun, close uncle figure.
Right.
Like the boys very much know he's their biological father, and he helped us have them, and he adores them. And now we are extremely close with his family. His mother, who we didn't meet his mom until Romeo was almost 2. And now they boys have another grandmother that we go out and visit her in San Diego. And it's very much this like lovely extended family. Christopher actually is remarried now, has a new husband. So there's that change.
He has his own baby and another one on the way. So
wow.
A lot has happened.
A lot has happened. Him and his husband have a 1-year-old with a new one on the way.
So did you kind of think this might happen, Lizzie? Or I think it's probably fairly rare that the documentary filmmaker is still in the lives and friends with their subjects. Did you expect? So you've sort of gotten 3 more families too, in a way.
Yes, I feel like because we went into this as such close friends, I think we're stuck with each other for life, film or no film.
Yeah.
And have people come to you, Lexy and Jessica, either other lesbian couples or just people going through fertility issues, to as you did? There's a nice scene with that couple you went to to ask them, and they gave some good advice. They were saying go for it out to San Francisco and things. But are people now finding you and saying like, hey, you did it successfully, etc.? And
yeah, a few people on Instagram have mentioned things and how it's touched them and how they're going through the same thing. And yeah, for sure.
A lot of folks that have struggled with infertility have reached out over the years, just sharing their gratitude for us sharing our story. And yeah, I will say that moment in the film where we sat down with the other lesbian couple was such a critical moment for us. Like that was like real advice that we took exactly what she said. That was like so like critical.
Wait 10 minutes.
Yeah, totally.
But the scene right before, your doctor says absolutely not, I do not recommend it. So I think, Lizzie, you brought in, there's many differing opinions in this whole process, right?
Yeah.
So here we are, like you said, almost 10 years later. when we see it, and there's beautiful singing. I forgot to mention you're an accomplished, beautiful jazz cabaret singer, Lexy, and I love your father, who I know from Albany. I play golf with him. We were hoping to have a big party with the whole
Wow.
Casano family and Jessica's family in Albany. Maybe we'll get to do that one day after COVID passes.
Love
But
that. Wow.
you know, your music throughout, was that always part of it? It really kind of drives the movie in a way and captures the movie. Was that always what you wanted to include, Lizzie, or did it just come out organically? Or
It's such a part of Lexi's life, and I think she's such an incredible singer that I always wanted to have that in, and I think it worked really nicely.
Yeah, it was really nice.
so what are each of you doing now in the film? You know, Jessica, you're an executive or a manager at a PR firm. Lexy, you're teaching music, you're singing in jazz nightclubs in New York, and you're nanny to the two boys. So what are you doing now, each of you?
Well, a lot has changed. I'm not singing in nightclubs anymore. I am a teacher. I'm a preschool teacher. Of course, I sing a lot, as much as I can, like, with my kids, with my students. I perform with, some friends in town, but nothing major. But yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Yeah, and I'm still in communications. I'm now VP of communications for Disney Plus and Hulu. So still in the industry.
But Jessica, and Lexy, something other big has happened since the.
Thank you for leading in the question.
Oh.
I want to hear.
Oh my God!
Your family's expanded,
We just
right?
forgot. We're like us. We're so selfish now.
No,
We're like,
I assume everybody knows, but
No.
of course. Well, drum roll. We have another little boy, and I did not carry him.
I got pregnant the first try. And
so annoying.
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
still doing that.
A little competitive. I sense a little competition there or something.
So Christopher helped us again. So another San Francisco trip.
Picture?
Well, that's
Oh,
another
that's
one.
an
Grab that one up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is in Brooklyn days.
Romeo and Frankie.
Romeo and Frankie.
Oh, that's sweet.
My little sweeties.
So that surprises me in this film, Romeo Romeo. I did not think you would volunteer to carry or to.
She didn't volunteer. Really.
I mean, let's be clear. I had a planned C-section. The second I got pregnant, I made my doctor confirm C-section. There's no pictures of me pregnant.
Yes, there are, and she's giving me the finger.
There's one picture of me pregnant. Yeah, I wasn't.
Sorry.
We were very, very different people,
Pregnant
ladies. Yeah. Lexy breastfed Romeo until he was 3, like maybe. I breastfed Frankie for 2 weeks. So we were very, very different. Yeah.
That's great. Congratulations. I'm wondering, Lizzie, I'm thinking of that great series Up, where you follow the late Michael Apted followed these people throughout their lives. You think you're going to do a follow-up with Lexy and Jessica?
Oh God.
No.
Filters on, Lizzie. I'm not sure we're that interesting anymore.
No, we're like
we'll try.
Boring suburban lesbian soccer moms.
Hey, that could be the next title. Boring suburban
lesbian soccer moms.
I would watch that documentary.
What are your boys into? They're soccer players. What do they like to do? What do you guys
Romeo
do?
loves soccer, and Frankie loves animals. And they're wonderful. I mean, they've aged us completely. They're great. 8 and 10. They're getting so big so fast.
That's great.
They're absolutely wild. Wild. But they're fun. So much fun. I
was just impressed with Romeo's head of hair. My 2 babies who are 30 and 25 now never had that head of hair at birth. I love it.
Oh, when he was born?
Yeah, he came out very hairy.
Yeah, he was a hairy little Italian boy.
I also love when you have all the grandparents, relatives, Christopher holding the baby. It's a beautiful ending to the film, since people have seen it before we're doing, so we're not, no spoiler alert here. But Lizzie, I know you're deeply involved in coming down the home stretch and post-production of your new film, Turn Every Page, about a hero of ours, Robert Caro, who's come to the Writers Institute. I've had the opportunity to meet him and interview him a couple times. And your father, Robert Gottlieb, the two Bobs you call them, legendary editor. My regret, I've never met him, but I hope to one day. Can you talk about that project?
Yeah, I seem to make films very slowly. So I'm about 4 years in, and hopefully in the home stretch of this film that's about the incredible Robert Caro. The incredible Robert Caro.
Yeah.
And my father is an editor and publisher, and has been editing Caro for the last 50 years.
Wow.
So the film is about them in their 80s as they try to kind of finish their life's work and their collaboration. They have a very contentious and very productive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about collaboration, it's about friendship, it's about writing and editing, and about these two really extraordinary men. So,
Do you have a time frame on that, when you hope to show it at film festivals?
I wish I could tell you an answer, but I don't.
Okay. Well, we hope you'll come to the Writers Institute with that film too, and maybe we can finally all get together in Albany. What else? Any downside? I mean, was there anything that the reaction was something that you didn't really expect that was unpleasant, or was it all happy? Lexy and Jessica?
I'm sorry for
Just the reaction to the film. I guess, would you encourage other people to, throw their lives wide open for a documentary filmmaker? Was it 100% positive, or were there some things that were a little bit?
If you have Lizzie on the other end, it's 100% positive.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean,
I don't know about others.
If it wasn't for Lizzie, who knows if we would have we would never have done something like this. And I don't think we would today. Like,
we wouldn't have had the opportunity, number one, and the trust. I mean, you really can't get that with someone you don't know that well. I mean, there's no way.
Yeah. So no regrets. It was a wonderful experience, and Lizzie's a very talented filmmaker that we felt honored to get to work with.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful story, and she captures the authentic experience so well. It's a beautiful film, Lizzie, and you can tell the trust and everything that she had, because it's so honest and so revealing. And yeah, it's a beautiful one. I was so happy. I didn't know how it was going to, I mean, I sort of knew, but I didn't know how it was going to end. And
I'm glad my dad didn't give it away.
No. In fact, I'll email him and check in with him and let him know that we'll be bringing this to a featured event at the Albany Film Festival. Anything else anyone wants to add?
Well, I guess as Annie and Kim would say, just don't give up. It will happen.
Right.
Hang in there. It can be an awful and really excruciating experience, but the outcome is worth it.
Yeah, all those shots you took in the thigh and in your butt. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, you show it all. Needles kind of freak me out. It's an ordeal, it seems like, that you went through.
It does seem like it happened to different people at this point,
No.
but watching it, it brings me right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many times have you seen it? Is it something you'll still pull out on a DVD or something if you have, or
every now and then I want to say, I'm like, oh my God, we
yeah,
made a movie.
Romeo has seen it once as well, which was really nice. He cried. He cried.
Yeah.
It was sweet. But Frankie hasn't seen it yet, although Frankie gets a little jealous. He's like, where's my movie?
We got to do a Frankie.
We've been saying we're going to do a follow-up for the last 5 years.
Oh my goodness. Lizzie, that's on you.
There you go.
I'm on my way.
Both boys need their film.
That's right.
Yeah. Anything else, Lizzie? We really look forward to Turn Every Page and your next wonderful film. Appreciate you being part of the Albany Film Festival. Lizzie Gottlieb, Lexy, and Jessica Casano-Antonellis, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.